And then, a man who survived a traumatic brain injury had to learn to walk and talk again. Now he's inspiring others to turn their disabilities to ability. You know, our next guest just pointed out to me that folks with disabilities actually form the largest minority group in this country. It's an interesting thing to think about. But the last thing in the world that Fantastic Frank Johnson wants you to think is that you're disabled. Fantastic Frank Johnson joins us here this morning, and you're going to love meeting this guy and having a conversation here. Good to see you, Frank. Let's let everybody know your story initially.
Okay.
Some 30 years ago, you were a successful chemical engineer.
Yes. I was trapped in a fire, carried out in a body bag, and today I'm here to inspire and motivate millions of people. That's the short of it. Now, what I want to empower, I want to say there are 4 things that you should never think about if you are disabled. The first thing is obvious, that you shouldn't label yourself as being disabled, because this places you into a box that is hard to get out of. So one of my techniques is call myself differently abled or Fantastic Frank. The reason for doing that, if you call yourself differently abled, it causes a brain schism in the person you're talking to. They don't know what the heck to label you as, so they don't label you as anything. But you can be fantastic, you can be awesome, brilliant, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Docious aliexpialidocious. That's
great.
backwards.
That's great. The second thing that you should never think about if you are disabled, and I'm going to have to use differently abled, is that your dreams are out of reach. That is a lie. Look at me. I'm doing things.
You had to relearn how to talk, how to walk.
I did.
You had to relearn how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you obviously didn't feel your dreams were out of reach.
No. And I'm still going for them today. I run 2 blog talk radio shows a week. I'm the host. I create my own book, which is right here, How I Turned My Disability into an Asset from Flawed to Fantastic. I create a comic book, and I do so many other things out in the community that you'd be amazed.
And you're in demand as a motivational speaker.
Yes, I am.
Constantly, but not just for disabled or
No.
other abled folks, especially able folks, but for folks of every walk of life.
I just gave a talk in Geneva to IT specialists. They wanted a person to come in there and motivate them. And no one had a disability or was differently able there. But I inspired those people, and they want me to come back and give another talk.
So don't think of yourself as disabled. Don't give up on your dreams or think that they're out of reach.
Okay.
What's number 3?
The third thing is that your past isn't as bright as your future. No, that's it, right? Is your past...
Your future's not as bright as your past?
It's not as bright, yes, that's how
right. But that's a misnomer. You say don't think that way.
Don't think that way, because that is a limiting belief. And you've got to get over that. Then
So stop looking in the rearview mirror.
Yes. Now, the 4th thing is that you have less opportunity than non-differently able people. That's a misconception too, because with the advent of things like the ADA, and I don't know if you have it out here, well, what happened to me was when I got trapped in a fire in New York State, they have something called the TBI waiver. And I think most states, particularly large states like California, do have them, which allows you to take advantage of certain government activities for free. And I'm just saying that you have so many different choices. It doesn't matter if you don't have a TBI. You could have MS, you could have a missing leg, and if soldiers coming home from war, they know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, in San Diego, we sure do.
The government is behind them 100%, and they can't be discriminated against for getting jobs. They have to be put to the head of the line. So that's the 4th thing.
So now, those are things not to think of, but you turn that around, you've got a list of things that you definitely should think of and should do.
Yes. I call it the ABLE formula. A stands for acceptance. The first thing that you have to do is accept whatever fate God or universe has delivered to you and boldly go on where no man or woman has gone before. that usually gets a crack up from the person I'm talking to, because I took that from Star Trek.
Sure.
Then B is belief. You must believe in yourself beyond what is possible, and that you have to do all the time. I do it every day. L stands for love. You must love yourself unconditionally. This includes the good, the bad, and the ugly. You must focus on your good, and you must minimize or mitigate the bad, the ugly things, and not talk about them. And not be a whiner and a complainer and talk about, oh, you don't have this kind. That is negative self-talk. That isn't good.
Sure.
Now, the E stands for environment. The environment has 3 things to it. 1, you must surround yourself with positive people, which can be a challenge if you have friends and family who don't think that you can amount to anything. But then the next P is that the next part of this is you must live in a safe and comfortable environment. And the third part of this is that you must have a passion in your heart for whatever you want to do. And your passion can propel you beyond the other 2 adversaries. And soon, if you are passionate about what you do, you will attract the positive people to your life like I've done, and that you will live in a safe and comfortable environment.
All right, fantastic, Frank Johnson. You are an inspiration, and to people of all walks of life, and I'd love for people to pick up the book. It's From Flawed to Fantastic, How I Turned My Disability into an Asset.
Could I mention a web page?
Please do.
Okay, I have a landing page, which is different than a web page. It is www.turndisability2ability.com. And if you can't go there, that is supposed to be able to capture your email address. I'm building my list. I have maybe 150, 200 people on there right now. But if you don't want to do that, go to my website, which is www.fantasticfrankjohnson.com, and check me out.
Beautiful. Frank, great to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Continued success.
Okay.
And thanks for telling us to keep our eyes up.
Yes, you have to.
All right. Thank you.